Hi, this is Anthony Effinger. I'm back with another episode of Distant Voices, and today I'm talking with singer-songwriter Warren Pash, who you might know as the co-writer of the song Private Eyes by Hall & Oates. He has lived in Portland, moved to Nashville, and is back and has a new song about Portland, which we're going to talk about. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Anthony.
So tell us about the new song.
It's called Adson Quare, which I'm sure you've never heard of that. Anybody's never heard of it. I'd be surprised if anybody has. It's actually the letters that I saw on the side of a building that remained from the words Madison Square. Some letters had fallen off the building, and I took a picture of it, and I ended up writing a song about Portland, and I used Adson Quare as the name of this guy in Portland. That's kind of what it is.
Now, was the sign in Portland?
Yes.
And where is it?
I think it's at like 50th and Powell, or 52nd and Powell, something like that. Did I send you the picture of it?
Yeah. So the M is missing, the I, the S,
and the S of square is missing. Now the sign since then has been totally taken down. There's nothing there now.
So your song is the last remnant.
Possibly the last hurrah, the first and last hurrah of Adson Quare.
So tell us about the song and what inspired you to write it.
Well, I got to town about 3 years ago, and I hit the ground running. I was kind of in that weird high place that people are at when they get to someplace new and they're all excited, and their peripheral vision is like really crazy wide. All the colors are a lot brighter than they normally would be. And I kind of knew that would go away eventually. And I was trying to soak up as much of this amazing look at Portland and sound and smell and sight of Portland while I could. So I was taking pictures of everything, like trees, funny signs, people leaving cassette players next to their shoes on the sidewalk, all this kind of crazy stuff. And I saw that sign and I took that picture, and it just sort of, it stuck with me in some weird way. And it made me think about all the changes I was seeing at the same time, about comparing what was the first time I lived here with what is here now. And I just felt that it kind of formed this idea in my head that maybe I could talk about those changes through this song somehow. And that's what I ended up doing. So
tell me when you lived here the first time, and then when you moved and where you went, and then when you came back.
So the first time I was here from 97 to 2000, and it was a very fertile time for certain musicians in this town because the internet wasn't crazy fast, and people still went out to see concerts and shows. So there was plenty of work for all of this small group of people, and we were all doing really fairly well. And in terms of just being able to get out there in front of people. But at some point, I kind of felt like I'd gone as far as I could go, and I needed to move to another sort of level with what I was doing, having lived in LA before Portland. So that's when I had an opportunity to go to Nashville, and I thought, well, maybe I'll sort of sink my teeth into that and see what happens. Everybody was very welcoming because the entire city is filled with songwriters. But I felt that something was missing, and what was missing was non-musical things. Everything was about music, and it sort of made me feel like it was just like eating pizza all the time. And it's great for a while, but then you get sick of it. So I kept coming back to Portland to visit, to get away from that constant barrage of music all the time. And eventually I just decided I was more comfortable being a person walking around in this town than I was in Nashville when I wasn't doing music.
Is Nashville the kind of place where if you throw a rock, you hit a songwriter?
No, it's the kind of town where when you're reaching for the rock, you hit a songwriter, even before you throw it. Like the idea of throwing the rock is hitting a songwriter.
So you come back to Portland 3 years ago, and the whole place looks new and alive to you.
Yeah, it's all psychedelic, all the color. I mean, this is a beautiful city, and it's the complete opposite of Nashville in terms of what the landscape is. For example, I didn't know all the parks around here were designed by one of the Olmsted brothers who built Central Park in New York City. And, that kind of stuff really blew me away. and just wanted to soak it all up and be in it and be around all the people. And it was amazing because everywhere I was going, there was life and laughter and color and just celebration of some sort.
That's a really, that's interesting because I hear some people say they characterize Portland as of about 3 years ago as New Portland. And I think they're thinking of, you know, the artisanal donut shops and stuff like that you'd see in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Is it ruined or is it okay?
Look where we're sitting right now. The whole time I was running around, I knew this was going to collapse. I could feel it in my bones because people are in such a hurry. And maybe that's what it has in common with the newness of all these other places. You know, Nashville, since I left, has become the bachelorette party capital of America. So everything's go, 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 fast, 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 no matter where you go. And that's the thing I found out when I left Nashville. I couldn't escape the American culture in some sense that exists everywhere in this country, or had until I put this mask on.
Like, so tell us about Addison Quare and how he symbolizes Portland.
Well, throughout the song, I make references to a lot of what the befores and afters, and I leave that, whatever those references are and what you think about them, I leave those up to you. I'm just pointing them out and saying, here's what was, here's what is. But you know, the chorus is basically saying, you know, for a drink and a dime, one more time. And to some extent, a drink will make you laugh, and a dime will give you something in the tip jar. And that's kind of what's happened to the music. To music in general has become a very inexpensive thing to access for people, no matter where you are, in terms of streaming or going to see a show or something.
And how is that for you musicians?
Well, it was pretty rough before COVID, and now it's insane. Now it's terrible. So I don't know how everyone's going to make it.
It's a long way from back in the day working with Hall & Oates. What was that like?
Well, I only worked with them to the extent that we collaborated on some writing. I was in bands I was in LA at the time, and a lot of bands trying to get record deals. So it was an exciting time in that there was definitely more money, but because there was a lot on the table. There was touring on the table. You know, if the money came in and you actually had that record deal, now there were publicists, there were art department people, there were all kinds of people in the chain that had to get paid through your record deal. So there was a lot on the line. If you look at Capitol Records, look at that building now, it was filled with people that went home every day and fed their kids working in those offices. Now it's a laptop in a coffee shop.
Well, I have to tell you, Addison Quare is really catchy. I've caught myself humming it. It's really
thanks
fantastic.
Very much.
Yeah, I really like it. And I got to tell you, as somebody who's lived in Portland since '95, I kind of like having something to help me put the place in perspective, and something to personify the changes, because they are real. And I think we might be in for another big change now, right? I mean, this could be a new chapter with COVID.
I mean, we're going to see some changes in what people's expectations are. I think are going to change a lot.
I do too.
And because what we used to expect was sort of a given. You know, there's a lot of entitlement that went with the fat and happy culture.
Maybe Portland will get weird or stay weird again.
I think, well, that's the thing about Portland. It's weird enough that it probably has the potential to get weirder.
All right. Well, on that note, I'm going to encourage everybody to listen. We'll link to the song, and I encourage everybody to click on that link because it's a great tune. It really is.
Oh, thank you again, and I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me about it.
Absolutely, Warren, and thank you very much.